Hi, and welcome again to another edition of Market Analysis for today, May 20th, Tuesday, May 20th of 2025. I'm Gio Benecourt, and this is a recording done by Vantage Markets. Did it right about 50 minutes actually, 40 minutes prior to the USA session open. Now, Moody's downgrade to the US credit rating initially shook the market as it kicked off the week. The S&P 500 was down early Monday before recovering to finish up 0.1% as investors reacted to the firm's recent decision to strip U.S. sovereign debt of its AAA credit rating. Now, while psychologically jarring, history suggests that downgrade will have little impact on stock returns in the longer term. Instead, investors should focus on corporate earnings. Standard & Poor's cut its rating on U.S. debt all the way back in 2011, and Fitch did so in 2023. Neither move ultimately scared investors away from Treasury bonds, which remain capital markets' ultimate safe haven. Meanwhile, the S&P 500 has enjoyed one of its best stretches in recent memory. A better way to gauge where stocks are headed may simply be to focus on corporate profits. There has been cause for worry there too, but the picture is improving. One of analysts' preferred gauges is earnings revision breadth, a sentiment measure which compares the number of downward earnings revisions issued by Wall Street stock analysts to upward ones. While the earnings revision breadth measure is still bearish, it's improved dramatically in the past few weeks. Now, let's note that breadth for the S&P 500 is now at negative 15%, up from a low of negative 25% in mid-April. If that trend continues, the S&P 500 could approach its mid-February highs. The combination of upside momentum in revision breadth and last week's deal with China has placed the S&P 500 firmly back in our pre-liberation day range of 5,500 to 6,100. Let's think continued upward progress in EPS revisions breadth back toward 0% will be needed to break through 6,100 on the upside. The S&P 500 hit its all-time high of 6,144 on February 19th. With that being said, let's take a look at what we can speculate for today's market fluctuation. So we see that yesterday, the market initially did have a little bit of a negative movement to downwards, but it did recover and it did close in the green. But yet we are still within last week range. Today we are also doing some of that little moving to move downward on the Nasdaq. So basically, I'm going to leave the same levels that we have placed yesterday, and anticipate or speculate that the market, if we were to open now, obviously we will open downward. But let's see if this retracement has had its run and could make another leg higher. Let's see if that will be the case, because we have revisited yesterday's high and fluctuated downward from there. Let's see if this movement that we have seen, the recovery, can continue its tall upwards. The S&P 500 did break our first level of resistance, so therefore I'm going to choose the upper boundary band as our second one now and leave the 6,000 marker as our first one. So again, these revisions, let's see if that will come out. We do have obviously Home Depot reporting today, and later on the week we have Target and lows. So as far as support goes, since we have actually fluctuated higher from yesterday and low, I'm gonna choose 59.10 as my first level of support, and then that swing low from Thursday as my second. I'm gonna leave the same levels of resistance. I already did updated the level of resistance. So let's see if the asset will continue to move higher towards that all-time high. Then we have the Dow Jones Industrial, which also broke our first level of resistance. So the upper boundary band is going to be our first level, 42,600 psychological value of it, around there. And then actually, basically, this yesterday's swing low created like a double bottom here with the wicks. Also, I'm going to choose that as my second level of support. Again, looking for a move higher. Crude oil, what a rebound it did yesterday. It's still closing in the red today. Also, this candle closed at $62.01, and this one opened at $62. Basically, the same level where it closed the previous one. We are in that range. We did kind of do with the wicks a double top here. Our first level has not been violated, breached. So therefore, I'm going to leave. I'm going to set up the lower volume band, meaning the 20-day moving average, as my first level of support. And then, let's see, 61.50. Actually, I'm going to bump it up, 61.50 as my first level, and then the 20-day moving average is my second one. It could just be entering a consolidation stage here, crude oil, and just straight sideways. Nat Gas, well, after fluctuating lower, it seems to have recovered. It opened gap up. Basically, we are now within yesterday. We have just retraced all of yesterday's fluctuation. Let's see if it's going to come up to close that gap. All right. We did, however, rebound out at 305 from yesterday. Gold, well, gold seems to be looking to fluctuate higher. So gold yesterday in this daily candlestick, gold is actually making a ascending triangle. Okay, so the previous move, well, like I said, it is downward. It seems to have rebounded from here, from this low. So let's and looking to break out. It's looking to break up to the upside. So let's see if that will be the case. I'm gonna leave the same levels that we have from yesterday. Okay, it's accumulating, even though it did swing today outside of the lower, if you will, line. So let's see if it today will make that move to the upside. So silver is basically within range. Again, it did violate our first level of support, but I'm gonna leave it there anyhow. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna bring up the second level of support. It is quite, it's switching quite fast. Let's see if the 50-day moving average will give it support and rebound from there. Could just also just drop. Copper. Well, copper is also just within yesterday's range again, making basically equal highs, equal lows, confident of congestion. Let's see if today will do a breakout or a breakdown. It's looking like it's recovering. Bitcoin, if they swing higher, I'm gonna actually update support. Yesterday's swing low and the 20-day moving average. Then we have the euro bouncing off that 20-day moving average with the medium of the Bollinger Band. I'm gonna bring up my levels to yesterday's open and just tying up with the intertwine of the lower Bollinger Band and the 50-day moving average. Let's see if it will recover or will it fluctuate towards 112 and find that support. The pound also, I'm actually going to bring it up to that medium and yesterday's open right around there. the same levels of resistance. Let's see if we'll do something of like. Then we have the dollar index, which has basically opened with a small gap up, has been closed, but is flattish right now. The medium seems to be giving that support. Let's see if it'll find some a bid and move higher, or will it just continue to move lower below 99 or stay below 100, which is basically looking to do so right now. Okay, that's it for me today. Have a great trading day. I'll see you tomorrow.